evening. Welcome to the press conference for Novak Djokovic. Please raise your hand, state your name and organisation when asking your question. Novak, another quarterfinals at Wimbledon. How are you feeling?
Good. Great match. On my end, I think Holger didn't really play in his expected level. I think he would say better, but I think I also made him uncomfortable on the court in terms of being very solid from the baseline and serving well in the important moments. And yeah, there were a couple of games when I was serving for the second set, and the third set, I think 3-2 up, where I saved some break points where, he had chances to shift the momentum to his side, but I think I played some good points. And yeah, I'm just really glad to overcome the challenge that is always a great challenge to play against Holger in straight sets. So feel good about my tennis. There's always something to improve, always something to work on, but it's all been going in the right direction.
I know that. Fazan here from Quality Shot, congrats on your win. Is it fair to say that at this point in your career, you're the most relaxed you've been on and off court from a tennis aspect?
Not really. I mean, I do enjoy my time with my family, with my kids, for example. I had some really nice time with my daughter yesterday on site. I try to mix things up, try to, in those off days when I don't have matches, yes, practice, but then also get my mind off tennis a little bit and enjoy the quality time with the close ones. But the tension and the pressure and the stress is really high. It's as high as it always has been.
James?
Novak, you were obviously quite wound up by the crowd tonight in this respect. Do you think it's time for Wimbledon to take action against crowd members who are overstepping the line, to go out and stop them stepping over the line? Previous match, for example, two matches.
I don't know what Wimbledon can really do about it. I mean, in those particular moments, when it happens, the crowd paid their tickets. They have the right to be there and cheer the way they want to cheer. So that's absolutely, something that they choose, how they choose to behave or how they choose to support the player is really up to them. And yes, I mean, you could argue that maybe, I don't know, a chair umpire or whoever can, step in certain moments and calm them down, or, but there's not much you can do. I mean, you're not gonna take out the whole section of the the crowd or stadium out because they're misbehaving, or showing disrespect. But I mean, it's just the way it is. It's part of the sport. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why we are here, why the tournament is so important historically, and why we're globally recognized as tennis players, is because of the fans, because of the interest that they put into watching tennis matches, paying tickets, queuing to come and, so I respect that. I try to acknowledge that. And I said on the court, all the fans, the true tennis fans that really respect players. And of course, I mean, you're going to support one player or the other. I mean, it's, obviously solely up to them. I mean, and it's fully understandable that they, have the freedom to choose who they back in the match. But, if somebody steps over the line, I react. And so that's basically what it was. After the match, I said what I said.
Courtney?
Just throw forward quickly to Alex Stiminor, being playing in the quarterfinal. Can you talk about Alex? He just says you're such a supreme mover.
Such a what, sorry?
Supreme mover.
Mm-hmm.
Defender. What does he brought to the circuit, and what do you see as him as a challenge?
Well, I take that as a compliment, but I actually think he probably is the quickest mover we have on the tour. I mean, he's, if not the quickest guy on the tour. I mean, has improved so much, I think, in the last year and a half, really. I played him in the fourth round of Australian Open last year, 2023. I played a terrific match, really. But from that match till today, watching his progress, seeing him get into top 10 is not a surprise, really. I mean, he's always had that speed. He's always had that incredible defense and really crafty hands on all the surfaces, particularly the quicker ones. I mean, Leighton Hewitt is in his corner, is a mentor and a coach and someone that has been with him for many years. And I think it's a great matchup because they match well together because of the styles of play. I mean, Leighton played quite similarly to Alex. So I've seen him only going in the right direction in terms of the improvement of his game. I think his serve became a weapon that maybe wasn't the case before. He takes the ball so early. He's not afraid to come to the net. So he's a very all-around player. And he's now established in the top 10, 15 in the world. He also has plenty of experience in playing on a big stage, the latter stages of Grand Slam. So I'm sure he's going to come out on the court, giving his all and believing he can win. I mean, he already beat me this year in Australia, so there's no reason why he wouldn't think that he can win that match. But obviously, Grand Slam is a whole different game, I guess. But I like my chances. I like the way I'm playing, particularly tonight against a tough opponent. So I look forward to it.
Tumani?
Congrats, Novak. You slipped a few times today. I'm curious in general about how you feel about the courts here and in general. There's been a lot of players slipping, a lot of injuries throughout the whole grass season.
Well, I'm personally feeling good. I mean, the knee has been really, knock on wood, really, really good. So I did not react negatively to those few slips that I had today. But it was quite odd, and strange that it happened in the same game, 3 times or so that I slipped. And I haven't been slipping, I would say, as much as I would normally slip on grass over the years. I was not falling that much, to be honest. Maybe today was 3 times, maybe in the previous matches 1 or 2 times. So I've been pretty pleased with that. It's probably part of my I guess, different kind of movement on the court that I've been really experimenting with because of the cautiousness, because of the knee and everything that was happening prior to the tournament. So, the first couple of rounds, I was still not really maybe willing to go on extreme balls and slide and make splits. But last few matches, I've done it. And today I had a couple of splits and nothing really hurt me. So I'm really glad. That's on a positive note. And look, once you close the roof, and it feels like we've been playing an indoor grass court tournament here more than outdoor, to be honest. I mean, I played every single match more or less, indoors. So we are blessed to have the roof. Don't get me wrong, particularly in the 2 big courts that we can play out our matches, and most of the other matches on the outside courts are not played. And I feel the frustration of the players, obviously, because you get interrupted, many times during the day. Obviously, it's not something you can affect. I mean, the rain is there, it's there, But once you close the roof, you know that the grass is going to be more slippery. So there's more chances that players will fall. Unfortunately, some of the falls have caused some of the players to withdraw, like Dimitrov yesterday, or we saw Zverev as well in his previous match had slightly injured his knee. That was, troubling him even today. So, yeah, it's part of this surface. You can't really change that. I mean, it's grass. It's a live surface, and it reacts to different conditions, the humidity, and etc.
Just take one more in English to Howard.
Back, more than half the men and women left had never won a Grand Slam title, seeking their first. Going back many, many years, many, many trophies, can you remember what it felt like to win that first and what you think changed the most for you with getting Grand Slam title number 1?
It was back in 2008. I won Australian Open. That was my first Grand Slam title, and obviously the first Grand Slam title is always the most special one. It was breaking the ice for me in a way, but it took me another 3 years to win a second one. So I did struggle those 3 years to understand, or to kind of see what it takes to win against, particularly Nadal and Federer, that were dominating the sport and the game and winning basically all the Grand Slams at that point. But I learned the hard way, I guess, through the rivalries with these two guys. Was basically improving my game, bettering myself also on the court mentally, I think, and really maturing and evolving as a person and as a player, and getting stronger as the time was passing by. And there were some key moments really in my career that really served as a great trigger in a positive way. For example, the Davis Cup title with Serbia end of 2010 was a huge momentum for me. I felt, wind in my back. I felt like I had wings after that, because bringing the first Davis Cup to Serbia ever was something extremely special in front of our crowd in Belgrade. And after that, I probably had one of, if not the best season of my life. Won 40+ matches in a row and three slams out of 4. And that's where I really became a different player, I would say. That's where I started believing that I deserve to be on the top, and that I can be better than Federer and Nadal. So it's, there are different challenges, or so to say, different levels of achievements in our sport. Obviously the big one is how to win a slam, and then even a bigger one is how to be number one, and then even a bigger one is how to be winning multiple slams, and then even a bigger one is how to do that for years and be the number one player in the world for multiple years. So that's it. Most of the players don't achieve that in the course of their careers. So I've been very blessed to be in that position. So I'm very proud of all the achievements, but I do know how difficult it is to climb to the top. And like Zverev, for example, is a very good example of somebody who, when you see his results, when you see his game and all he has done so far in the sport, he definitely deserves a Grand Slam title, right? But he was so close against Dominic Thiem in US Open. He was played finals this year. He was up against Alcaraz in the finals of Roland Garros. Many times semis, and it's just edging closer and closer. But it's not easy. It's not easy, and the longer it goes without you winning a slam title, the more you think about it, and the more this pressure mounts on you every time you're in that situation where you're okay, I'm playing for the title again, and then you start doubting yourself, and then it's a huge icebreaker when you manage to win the first one. But for players like Dominic Thiem, for example, when he won his Grand Slam, only Grand Slam, after that he couldn't maintain that level for too long, and then unfortunately injuries caught up with him, and then it's unfortunate to have a player like that also not being able to be consistent with his level, and because he's a player that could have won easily multiple slams on clay court as well. You have unbelievable players that never won a slam. They deserve to do, but it's just Grand Slams are a whole different animal, so to say, in comparison to other tournaments.
Okay, we're going to switch to Serbian questions now. Thank you very much. Any questions in Serbian?